on a recipe to mom. On a recipe to mom. Welcome, chat, to this bonus edition of Cooking with Surfer. This will be the first edition that instead of being numbered, it'll be numbered B, alphabetically for bonus. And today, what we're going to make is just a little bit of a quick panzanella salad. Just a little bit of a nice snack, and that's why it's a bonus episode. Because today we're making the panzanella salad. So here we go. Here we go, chat. If I can fucking get this sideways, I don't know, we might be fucked because I started filming in portrait mode again. This is what seems to happen every time, but here we go. We'll fucking have a go over nonetheless. So, if we fucking just set her up on the cooking board like so, we'll just go full fucking JFS King Cobra style on this one. You can see the cutting board. You can see the cutting board. You can see I got my ciabatta bun, which are like the best fucking buns, hands down, are these ciabatta buns. But contrary to what you might believe, we're not actually just going to eat the ciabatta bun as is, but we're going to cut it, we're going to toast it, and then we're going to put it in our panzanella salad. So you need a knife. You need a knife to cut it. I'm going to cut it in half. So you want to be fucking careful here not to cut your fingers. So you just sort of let the fucking knife do its thing. You don't want to push too hard while your fingers are so close to the knife, so you don't cut yourself. Let's fucking go. Seems to be a bit fucking tough here. You don't want to push though, because you don't want to cut yourself once again. Just gonna now we're past the fingers so we can push a bit more. And you can see we've got the rest of the way through our ciabatta bun. And now I'm going to place the ciabatta bun in the toaster, so it's prepared. I'm going to place it in the toaster this way as opposed to this way. And the reasoning behind that is because if the lengthwise is up, once you pull it out of the toaster, it's going to be a bit further up, so it's going to be easier to do. Because you don't want to be reaching into your toaster to get anything. That's a bad idea. Right? There's a fucking pro tip. Don't reach into your toaster. So, I'll put that in there. And I'm not going to quite toast it yet. Because I think, and I'm not certain, but I think I want it to be warm in the panzanella salad. So here we go. What do I do next? Okay, so You see, what do they call it? They call it bocconcini cheese. I got my bocconcini cheese, and I'm going to tear it up is step 2. That's the next step here. So first thing, we're going to figure out how to open this bocconcini cheese. You know, it sounds pretty Italian or something like that. It opens nice and easy there, as you can see. You just sort of got to find the corner and tear her along. So I need to halve or tear it into bite-sized pieces. So first I'm just going to drip the fucking liquid off of it. Might pour the liquid down the sink instead of throwing it out in the garbage. You know, it's probably a brine solution to keep the bocconcini cheese fresh. I need to turn the fucking tap on. Rinse the brine solution off of our fingers here. I'll turn the tap off. We'll just sort of, our hands are clean. We just rinsed them again, so we're just going to tear the cheese up. I think it will go better in the salad if I tear it versus halve it. So we're just going to tear up these little bite-sized pieces. I'm going to want them nice and small, so I'm really going to tear them up. But, I mean, there's no perfect size to your bocconcini cheese. You sort of tear it up as you see fit for your own panzanella salad. You know, it's, maybe you like bigger bites of cheese than I do. You know, but I just like these happy little pieces of bocconcini cheese here. So I'll just... Got 4 pieces. I'll just keep tearing up our bocconcini cheese. As so. I'll just fucking tear her along. You know, and if you rip off a piece that's a bit too big for your liking, you can just rip her again. You know, until you get just the perfect pieces on your bocconcini cheese. You know, it's good to have a bit of variety. Some pieces may be a bit bigger than other pieces. You know, I'll just keep tearing her up. But just past the halfway mark with our bocconcini cheese here. Just past the fucking halfway mark there, chat. Just fucking passed her along. Just past the 3/4 mark there now. Just keep tearing her up like so. Probably got like fucking 7/8 or something like that now. And you can see now we got a whole mountain. We got a whole mountain of hand-shredded bocconcini cheese. So we'll just move that to the side on our cutting board here, so it doesn't interfere with our tomatoes or any of the other ingredients to our bocconcini salad. Maybe gonna rinse the fingers off a little bit because we got brine solution from the bocconcini cheese all over them now. You know, so just turn the tap on with the palm there. That way we don't get brine solution all over the tap. Sort of rinse our hands there. what's next? So next chat, is time to have our tomatoes. So the first step to having our tomatoes is to wash your tomatoes. You always want to wash your produce. You never know what kind of weird abominable chemicals like glyphosate that Monsanto has sprayed all over your tomatoes, you know, and your leafy greens. So you generally just want to give them a bit of a wash. We'll get the, once we give them a wash, we got the paper towels so they can dry. Because you also don't want to leave the tap water on your produce, because then you'll get fluoride all over for it. And that's how you fucking calcify the pineal gland. So, just going to turn on the cold water. You generally want to use cold water so the pores remain closed and you don't get these weird chemicals seeping into the pores of your produce. You know, because, you know, some produce is probably porous, like our skin, right? Like, they're vegetables, so they're plants, right? So they're probably porous in their skin. I got to imagine. I'm no expert, but... So, I'll take our tomatoes. We got these little, I think they're like cherry tomatoes, maybe? I don't know if they call them, I don't think they're grape tomatoes. I think they're cherry tomatoes. Give them a little bit of a rinse in the sink there. Just sort of rinse them off one at a time. And you know, I just sort of give them a nice little cursory rub with my fingers like that, and then that way I make sure all the glyphosate's gone. You know, that's what I'd recommend. Just give them a nice little cursory rub under the cold water there. Sort of line up our tomatoes. Now, it doesn't really matter how you place them onto the paper towel too much. I like to place them in a grid, and I try to get the grid as square as I can. You know, I don't know, maybe that's sort of autistic, but you know, I just like to get them squared out. I like to get them in a nice mathematical grid. And that way it's easy for me to keep them organized and know what I'm working with. So we'll just keep building onto our square. And you know, then I can also use multiplication to see how many tomatoes I have. We got 6 so far. This should be the 7th tomato. This should be number 8 here, coming up. Got tomato number 8. Tomato number 9. Which perfectly makes a 3x3 grid with tomato number 9. But we actually have 11 tomatoes now that I count them. So we got digits on the fucking tomatoes here today for our panzanella salad. You know, you just keep giving them a nice little cursory rub. Now, because we're not going to be able to complete a square, you know, that we have 9 and there's 11, I'm just going to add them right here at the base. And I'll show you once I got the next one here. Here's number 11. That's the end of the tomatoes. So you can see, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? I don't want to flip the camera. But there's a nice little grid. You can see how I've got number 10 and 11 placed, because I couldn't quite complete the square. So I throw out our tomato container, and now we're supposed to, I'm just going to dry these tomatoes off with another piece of paper towel, because I put the paper towel there so the water doesn't sink into the wood of the cutting board, but now I'm actually going to dry them off with another piece of paper towel. Sure, to give them a little dry one at a time, and we'll just line them up to stay organized. we'll line them up in the, there's like this grease, this liquid catch. It's like forms a moat around the cutting board. So we'll make a nice little moat of tomatoes. This is what we'll do in our cutting board. It'll be a moat. There it is. There's the addition to the moat that goes in front of the camera. And I'll just keep drying them off there. Just take your time. Make sure you get all the birth control and all the fluoride off your tomatoes now that you've washed them with the tap water. If you live in the city, that is. I mean, it might be a different composition in your water if you live in the country, if you got a well. You know, if you got a more base setup than I got here on this edition of Cooking with Surfer. But, you know, I'm forced to work with the tap water. So you just want to make sure you get the birth control off of it, you know, and the fluoride and all that stuff. So, let's see, what do I want to do? Okay, so now you just want to halve the tomatoes. So not too much work because they're already pretty small tomatoes. You just got to cut them in half. So here, I'll move the piece of the moat that's right in the way. Actually, I got to move the phone because all you can see is the bocconcini cheese. There we go. So maybe if we move these, you can see them on the cutting board. And we're just gonna cut them in half like so. Now we'll cut them in half along that side, which will expose the innards of the tomato. You see, if you were to cut it lengthwise, you might catch this piece, and then the liquids aren't exposed. But we actually want the liquids exposed for the bocconcini salad, because that way it will help like the salad dressing or whatever, you know. I'm not big on salad dressings myself, but that'll add a bit of a natural salad dressing to it. So we'll just sort of line our cut tomatoes up beside our bocconcini cheese. So want to be careful not to cut your fingers. I always get friggin' micro cuts from this knife all over my hands, and you don't even notice them, but then you start doing the fucking dishes or whatever, and you get the soap in there, and it just fucks with you. You know, it's just irritating. You know, so you want to watch out you don't get irritated by these friggin' micro cuts. Just sort of cut them along. And one trick using the knife that I've found actually is with the center of the knife, you get the cut going and you get her to the bottom. But when you want to split that last little bit of skin, and this works really well with like peppers as well, when you're working with like green peppers or red peppers or anything like that. If you elevate the knife like that, and drag the point along the cutting board, it separates the fucking last bit of skin. Perfect. Now it does leave grates. Like if you push pretty hard, it will leave grates in your cutting board. But that's not a big deal. It's a cheap cutting board, anyways. I think I picked it up for like $5 or whatever at the grocery store. Nothing too fancy. So we're just going to keep cutting our tomatoes. And once again, we want all these cherry or these grape tomatoes or whatever they are, we want them cut in half. So I'll just keep cutting them. And I'm going to push them to the side so there's still some room on the cutting board. We do still want a bit of room on the cutting board. We'll just fucking cut them along there. Remaining careful using the knife. You don't want to cut your fingers off like a butcher. You know? And here's the one last tomato. Now here's a little bit of wisdom actually. When my dad did the roof for his shop, he got all the fucking plywood panels or whatever the fuck on the top of the roof just laid perfect. But on the very last panel, he goes to put it on and he tries to do it quick because he's just about done, you know, he does that final fucking panel and he loses his grip on the roof and he just starts sliding, you know, and he tries to grab the ladder and hold on to it, but the ladder just falls and the guy falls 14 feet onto the permafrost and just fucking shatters his leg bone, you know. Had to get this big fucking metal plate in his leg. You know, so there's a little bit of wisdom. You know, even if everything's been going real smooth all the way up until you get to that final piece, you still want to be careful, you know. You don't want to cut corners because sometimes you've done the whole job perfect and it's that last little bit that fucks you. You know, guy couldn't walk for like fucking 5 years after that, you know. He still struggles to walk to this day. You know. What? I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes in life you get what you deserve, you know. Oh, fuck. It used to be sort of funny. We used to fucking stick magnets to his leg, you know. That only certain magnets would stick to the plate, but some of them would. So here's our last tomato, and the reason I bring that story up is I've been very careful this whole time cutting the tomatoes, but, you know, if I lost that on this last tomato, I'm going to give myself a fucking another micro cut, you know, and it's going to be a nightmare to do the fucking dishes. So, you just still want to be careful. You just cut her there. And there's our last tomato. Done nice and properly. So, what are we going to do next? Okay. So, now, I'm going to get a small bowl. Actually, instead of a bowl, what we're going to use is a little, I think it's Dutch. You know, I could be wrong about this, but I think it is. A little Dutch secret called a ramekin. You know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But they're these small little bowls that are great for sauce. And that's actually going to be just perfect for what we need to get our dressing together. Okay. So, what I'm going to do, chat, here today, we're going to take a little bit of the olive oil. It's the extra virgin stuff, it looks like. Don't really know what that means, to be honest. You know, but that's what we're going to use. And 1 tablespoon. Now, when I use a tablespoon, I like to use the bigger tablespoon, you know, just to be safe. That way it doesn't spill over the edges. Actually, you know, that is a real pro tip. You know, I haven't actually ever seen a pro do that, but I guess I am a bit of a professional myself. You know, so here's a pro tip. Instead of using like a perfectly sized tablespoon, that if you fill up perfectly, it's going to spill over the edge when you're trying to balance it, bringing it to whatever you need. If you use a bigger spoon, a spoon that's bigger than the tablespoon, but just slightly, you just fill it almost all the way, and then you have a bit of room to work with. You know, it's like using a cup that you're not going to fill right to the brim when you're trying to take a sip out of it, you know, on your coffee or whatever. So, we're going to use our slightly larger than a tablespoon spoon. We're just going to get a little bit of olive oil like so. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. A little bit of olive oil like so. We're just going to pour it into our ramekin. Just like so. And if I can remember correctly, you know, this is an authentic surfer recipe. You know, an authentic bonus recipe. So if I can remember correctly, I don't think I need any more oil, but I'll leave my spoon out just in case. I'll just put it down right here on this paper towel so it doesn't get dirty from like the counter or whatever. You know, because any grime anywhere will stick to the oil. So we got a little bit of garlic salt here. So we're gonna fucking open up our garlic salt. Might need the scissors to open up the garlic salt. It's giving me a tough go. You know, it's not easy apparently just to tear open now that I've been using the oil, so I'm gonna cut it with the scissors. Which is another pro tip, in fact. You know, if you ever struggle to open something up in the kitchen, the scissors usually work. Especially the fucking Cutco scissors with, like, the grates in them and everything. You know, works really well. So we'll put that down. And we're going to use about 4 grams. 4 grams of garlic salt that you can see I've put together here for this authentic surfer recipe. You know, straight from the heart, you know. Like Mama used to make, you know, or however the fucking Italians say that, you know. So we'll just sort of pour all our garlic salt into there. I might have winded a little bit of the garlic salt on the tomatoes, but that's not too big of a deal. It's all going to the same fucking bocconcini panzanella salad anyways. And then the other thing we want in our dressing for this authentic surfer recipe is a balsamic glaze. This is what we want. So, once again, I'm going to cut my balsamic glaze open with these scissors that I've pre-packaged with my press for this authentic surfer recipe. You know, for the authentic experience. So, we'll just sort of cut that open. Because it's a liquid, pro tip number 3 or 4 is to cut it open over the sink if it's a liquid, and that way it doesn't spill all over the place. And we're going to use, you see I have about 2 tablespoons of balsamic glaze. We're going to use about half of that to start. Just about half. So, what we can do, because we have our tablespoon, see it's a good thing I didn't get rid of it, is we're just going to fucking... maybe we'll use a hair more. And once again, you want about a tablespoon, but of course customize it to your own taste, right? Your size of your bocconcini cheese and all those things must fit your personal palate. You know, so it's do what you will with that. And now here's where we got to be sort of careful, because we still got some balsamic glaze, and I am going to use it later on in the recipe. So we don't want it to spill all over the place. You know, and it's a liquid, and it's in this not hard container. I should have actually pre-packaged it in a hard container. That would have made my life a bit easier for this authentic recipe. You know, so I'm just going to try to balance it. I'm going to try to stand it up. And that's, now that I can remember correctly for this authentic recipe, that's all the ingredients we need for our sauce. So I'm going to take the same spoon I was using before, because it's had the oil and the balsamic glaze. Oh, fuck. No, I was retarded. I'm supposed to use a fork. Now I remember correctly. You know, now I remember correctly that it's too late. But actually, I'm supposed to use a fork, you know. That's how Mama would do it. You know, But instead we're going to use this spoon. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm just gonna stir it up, whisk it all together with this spoon until it's nice and uniform. You just gotta change frequencies and directions and intensities, and that's how you stir it up right. You hit her from all angles, chat. You hit her from all angles. So now that we got that, set that down. We'll put our spoon down. Oh, that was fucking retarded. You know, at this point of the authentic recipe, I'm supposed to have actually mixed that in a bigger bowl. You know, using the Dutch secret, the ramekin, wasn't that much of a pro tip. In fact, I've actually fucked up Mama's authentic recipe, you know. Now I'm just going to transfer it to a bigger bowl. I'll save the day with a bigger bowl. But I'm supposed to mix these tomatoes and the bocconcini cheese in with it. And there's no way that's all fitting in this ramekin. You know, there's zero possibility that all 11 tomatoes and this fucking bocconcini cheese is going to fit in the ramekin. But I mean, you know, I'm not big on salad dressings myself, so you know that does sort of work for the better, because what adheres to the side of the ramekin will just make it so it's a bit of a lighter dressing, you know, there'll be a bit less to go around, so I'll actually enjoy the salad a bit more myself, and that's what you want to do. It's a pro tip, right? You want to customize it to your personal palate. So we're going to take a bigger bowl here, you know, something a bit more regular sized. Just sort of the sort of bowl that you would eat out of, I think. I don't need a fucking large bowl for Mama's recipe. No. You know, Mama's secret is to use a regular sized bowl. So that's what we're using here today. So first, we'll transfer our glaze into the bowl. And I'll try to do it sort of high. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, chat. Look at this. It doesn't even, if I hold it upside down, it's so thick, it doesn't even pour out. What a fucking nightmare that is. So I'm going to have to, even if I hold it upside down, it doesn't even move. It's like thick as molasses, unironically. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my spoon and I'm just going to scrape it out. Oh fuck, it looks like chocolate fudge, that Smucker's chocolate fudge that you'd put on fucking, you know, you'd put on your vanilla ice cream. And we'll get it all up the sides. Once again, you can see here, chat, there's still a little bit that's adhered to the sides. But for my taste, that's just a happy little accident. You know, it's I don't need that in my salad anyway, so it all works out. Well, I'll just sort of rinse out my ramekin before it sticks too much. You know, and there is a pro tip, because that saves you a bit of dishes later on when you end up doing that. So now, what do I add first? Okay, so now, for this authentic bonus recipe, first we're going to add our bocconcini cheese. So I'm just going to pick it up, all those nice little pieces that I shredded. We'll toss them in there. Make sure we don't leave any behind. You don't want any soldiers left behind with your bocconcini cheese, chat. And toss in our tomatoes. Oh, fuck. fuck. The tomatoes are sort of slippery. You know what? We're gonna get them. We're gonna get every last one. You know, we got a sort of a greasy hand, so we'll just sort of rinse her off as the fucking ramekins rinsing here. Kill two birds with one stone, as they like to say. Sort of rinse off our hands like so. And then toss to coat. So, I mean, I'm no expert at fucking tossing the salad, but we're just gonna fucking toss her with this spoon. I think this is what it means by toss. It's just sort of if you stir with throwing her up in the air. Are you back, buddy?
Yeah.
I'm doing a bonus episode of Cooking a Surfer for you, buddy. You can premiere it on your channel later.
Oh, nice.
I'm making the fucking bocconcini panzanella salad, buddy.
You just recording it on your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just pre-recording it. So, you can see we got her all tossed. She's all stirred up there. You can probably see that. And you just sort of want to bang off your spoon, you see, so you're not missing any pieces of your bocconcini cheese. And you're good. Oh, fuck, buddy. Did you ever get a lot of flavored waters? PPP just got back from his swim. Is it hot out there, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. So, now, for Mama's authentic recipe, for this authentic recipe that I'm blessing you guys with, you know, we're going to season this with a little bit of pepper. To each his own with the pepper, you know, like there is no right way to do it with the pepper. You sort of do it as you see fit. For me, I'm either going to use 4 shakes or I'm going to use 7 shakes. Dependent completely on what it looks like after 4 shakes, you know. This is what we're going to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong on that. We're going with 5 shakes here today based off what it looks like after 4. So, I'll put our pepper away. Oh, fuck. You know, I wasn't, you know, I had another momentary lapse of judgment, you know, and with Mama's authentic recipe, you're actually supposed to toss it after you put the pepper in. But like I said, I'm no expert at tossing the fucking panzanella salad here, you know. It's fucking, you know, my mom might be an expert, authentical, you know, but I'm not quite yet, you know. I'm just sort of trying to bring her back from memory. So, and now that that's done, now is the time when I'm going to toast my ciabatta. And once again, we've left the ciabatta till this point so that it's still sort of warm. You know, I haven't wasted all this time leaving it sitting there after it's toasted. So now, I'm just going to toast her on about a fucking medium on my toaster. And then, while that toasts, got my fucking spring mix over here? What the fuck is this? Oh, I forgot that not only spring mix, but I also use basil for Mama's authentic recipe. So first I'm going to take my spring mix though, and I'm just sort of going to wash it. And I'll try to show you I'll try to fucking make this happen. Let's see if I can make this happen. What the fuck? Well, I haven't used my toaster in a while, I'm not gonna lie, but it smells like there's a fire inside of it now that I'm toasting this fucking ciabatta bun. You know, you keep my eye on that. Sure it's not smoking. Oh, fuck. Oh, I'll certainly keep our fucking eye on that one, chat. You know, but in the meantime, like I said, we're gonna fucking wash our fucking spring mix. So, I like to wash my spring mix in what I believe is a coriander, you know, but actually I have no idea what the difference between like a fucking coriander and this thing is. But I just like to call it a coriander here today. And what we'll do, how will we set this up? Maybe if I set up my phone. Can you see it? No, you won't be able to see that. There's no fucking way. If I set it behind this sponge, maybe? Good as any. I believe that's good as any. You might not be able to see into the sink, but the toaster smells fucked, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what that is. You know, there's a lot of, I just put my fucking hand over it. There's a lot of heat coming out of that toaster too. Like just a ridiculous amount of heat. I've never felt that much heat out of a toaster in my life. But we'll just sort of pour our fucking spring mix into our coriander. You know. We'll fucking toss her up. Now you can see how I toss her up. I just sort of, I get the water running over one corner of it, and I actually toss it with my fingers. You know, I'm getting quite a bit better at tossing the salad here on fucking Cooking with Surfer, bonus edition number 1. You know, alphabetical episode number 1. And we're gonna fucking just sort of toss her, flip her around, all that stuff. You don't want to break up your greens too much. You know, have any fall between the cracks. And we'll just sort of toss her like this. That will get the, shake the water out of it. Once again, anything that fell into the sink, we just lost one leaf to the sink, which is bound to happen. You know, if you lose a leaf or two from your coriander, don't worry too much about it. Just try not to lose the majority, obviously. We'll toss that out. And now, once again, because of the fluoride and the birth control and who knows what, you know, we're gonna dry off our leafy greens with paper towel. Now, the best way to do that I've found, drying leafy greens, because it is a bit tougher. It is a little bit tougher than when you're drying something like the tomatoes or the peppers, or I don't know if you eat onions or anything like that, but anything like that, because they're bigger shapes, right? But the leafy greens are obviously quite a bit tougher to get 100% of the surface area of. So the best way I've found, oh fuck, I lost another leaf. What a fucking juice scam, chat. So the best way I've found, now I'll just toss this, I'll just rinse it loosely afterwards instead of having to wash it in full, because I hate fucking washing the coriander, to be honest. But I'm just going to take my leafy greens, And I'm actually going to spread them out on the paper towel here. I have about 2 paper towels thick. And I'm going to spread them out as much as I can possibly spread them out here. I'll even show you. You see, I got the, I don't know if you can see that. But you can see I got them nice and spread out. And the reason I've done that is because now that they're nice and spread out, I can actually just take 2 more pieces. So I put double pieces on the bottom because the water will naturally like soak through downwards. On the top, you only need 1 layer, but 2 pieces wide gave me enough room to really spread out the leafy greens. Obviously, I'm just making enough salad for 1 serving. I pre-portioned it to Mama's authentic recipe, just with enough. So like 2 sheets wide is enough. But obviously, if you're like making 4 servings, you're quadrupling the recipe. You might want a bit more room to dry your leafy greens off with. But so what I'll do is I'll actually lay it flat right over top. And then I just push down like this. And I make sure I get pushed down on every part. Go over it a couple times. And that dries them nice, you know. That's how you get all your fluoride, all your birth control, all your whatever madness, all the cocaine in the water, you get it off your leafy greens, you know. And then I just crumple up the paper towel like this, and then I just do another cursory. If I see any water left, I just sort of dab it. And by dabbing it, we get every last little bit. And now it's a fucking nice dry leafy greens. So back to back to the actual salad here now that we got our leafy greens, chat. We'll set this down just like so. Here, I'll move the bowl a bit for you. Maybe put it in the corner. That way you can see the full spectrum of the salad, maybe a bit more. You know? And then Mama's authentic recipe calls for me to add the spring mix to the salad, you know, which might be sort of intuitive. You know, it might make sense. You know, so I'm just going to take the paper towel, and you see I've folded it up like this so I can actually just use gravity and shake out my leafy greens. And there's 1 piece that didn't go with it, but this piece looks fucked anyways. It's like a fucking rolled up leafy green. Looks like a piece of rabbit shit, to be honest, but what it is a rolled up leaf. I certainly won't be eating. Certainly won't be eating that one there, chat. Oh, fuck. So, fuck, we're gonna need a bigger fucking bowl again. Damn it. Damn it. Every time, chat, we need a fucking bigger bowl, you know? Like, once again, we need a fucking bigger bowl. What a nightmare that is. So, we're going to up our bowl size here. And this time, we're even going to use a nice see-through bowl that might make it easier for the video as well. So I'll move my small bowl out of the way. But Mama's authentic recipe actually called for a small bowl, so that is sort of bullshit. You know, it's fucking nonsense. I'm gonna put this down. I'll get my cutting board out of the way because I'm done with it. You know, and now, chat, you're in for the fucking kino, you know, of the bocconcini panzanella salad. We got the Kino filter with this new bowl. So, We'll put our cutting board out of the way now that we're done with it. And now we'll transpose. Now we need to transpose, once again, our salad to the bigger size of bowl. And once again, like, even though it's the second mistake with bowl size in a row, it is going to work out for me because I don't like a lot of sauce on my salad, you know, but it's, it might not work out so well for you. So maybe when you try to do this recipe, just use a bigger bowl off the hop. I just sort of scrape all the cheese out. We don't want to miss any of our bocconcini cheese. Get rid of that. And now is where the ciabatta bun comes in. So you can see here, chat, we got our fresh toasted ciabatta bun. You know, probably about the best buns going. And now, contrary to what you might believe, we're not actually going to eat it like this. But just like our bocconcini cheese, we're now going to tear it up and add it to the salad. And it'll be like the fucking croutons. You know, we're going to have like croutons in our salad, but ciabatta croutons. So, we'll just sort of tear it up like so. Bite-sized pieces. Once again, I personally like the smaller pieces, but you do whatever you will, you know. You need to perfect the panzanella salad to your palate. You know, I almost forgot the word palate there, but that's all right. We're still winning. You know, we're still making progress. Well, we'll just sort of tear up this. There it is, half teared up. Once again, your croutons don't need to be uniform, you know, it's, you sort of do whatever you will with your panzanella salad. You know, and that's the beauty of Mama's authentic recipe, is the creative freedom that you get when you put together your panzanella salad. So we'll just keep turning it up. Keep turning it up like so. There it is. And what the fuck else do I... Okay. So at this point that we have we got our croutons in there, our ciabatta croutons and our leafy greens. We're just going to toss it. Just like before. Just like we tossed the salad before. We're just going to toss it. Just make sure we get a bit of that glaze on our croutons, you know, give them a bit of flavor. Make sure our leafy greens are nice and glazed. We got the bocconcini cheese. The bocconcini cheese! You know, we got it spread nice and uniform throughout. There's that. And now the final step. The final step, chat, is to take our basil. And we're just going to tear a little bit of this fresh basil over top, you can see. So, what I'm going to do with the fresh basil is I'm going to rinse it in the sink, you know, just like the spring mix. But actually, I'm not even going to use my coriander. I'm just going to do it in my hands. Because you can see I can hold all of the basil we need right in my hands. So I'm just going to turn the cold water back on. I'll just sort of rinse her out. Now, here's pro tip number 6 or 7 or wherever we're at with the pro tips. But when you're washing spices like this or herbs like this, that you only need to use the leaves. It's actually wise to rinse the stems as well. Actually, I don't know how much sense that actually makes, whether that is a pro tip or not, but by doing that, like, none of the glyphosate from the stems is going to be able to drip onto the leaves after I've washed it. So it's just nice and thorough. It doesn't take that much more work. I'm going to, this time, for my double layer with the paper towel, we only need one width, not thickness. We need the double thickness, but we need one width and the length. Or maybe area. Maybe I should just say area. But we only need one of them because there isn't a whole lot of basil we're working with. And once again, if you're making the panzanella salad for like your family or whatever, you might need something a bit bigger, a bit more basil. But it's just a nice little treat. It's just a nice little treat I'm going to have for lunch, this panzanella salad, or panzanello salad, or whatever it is, or Mama's authentic recipe. I don't know. Gonna get one more paper towel. And we're just going to dry off our basil like before. Now it looks like, chat, that maybe I've actually felted the basil with the water. You can sort of tell it's my first rodeo with the panzanello salad here, And fucking, look what I've done to the basil. Look at what I've done to it. It looks felted. It's had a real tough time. It's like all of Ethan Ralph's pay pigs, now that their credit card info is sitting on a server, with whoever has that on Kiwi Farms. They're all felted, unironically, because their accounts are about to be cleaned out by, like, Kiwi Farms hackers. Similar to the basil. You can see it in the wilts of the leaves. The basil is approaching the 9th gate of felt. I don't know if it will enter, but it's approaching. So, I'm just going to take some of these better leaves. They didn't get quite so felted by the water. Oh, fuck, they're bad. Well, Chad, I'm not too big on basil myself anyways. I'll just take a couple of the better leaves. And we'll just sort of put them on top of our salad like, actually, fuck. Oh, no. I'm supposed to drizzle with the remaining balsamic glaze. So I'll take the remaining balsamic glaze, maybe not all of it, but I'll just sort of do a spiral. Just do a spiral. A little bit added touches, and fuck the rest of the balsamic glaze. I don't really like salad dressing anyways, I'm not gonna lie. Toss her down the fucking sink there. Hopefully it's not too bad for the pipes. I don't think it is. Unless it hardens like fucking molasses without garlic salt. And now that we have our nice little spiral of balsamic glaze is when we're gonna put our basil on top. So I might have fucked up with one leaf, It is my first rodeo with Mama's authentic recipe, but you're just about there anyways. I don't think I could possibly make any more mistakes at this point. So, and you won't make any mistakes either, because now you've seen all these mistakes been made, so you have something to learn from, so I'm going to rinse the spoon. I don't need that. Make my dishes a bit easier later. Just going to tear maybe just 3 more of these leaves on top. Oh no, that one's bad. We'll tear this one on top. And that's fucking it. That's all the basil we need. throwing the rest of it out. It's just so felted. You know, it's entered the ninth gate of felt like Ethan Ralph. You know. You know, now they're just falling, you know, to their impending doom in the crash, you know. The ninth gate would be set up, like, right on the Feltoning cliff. You know, so once the fucking train goes through the gate, like, all that's left is to fall to fucking obliteration. You know, it's like the fucking scene in, like, Lost World or Jurassic Park where the train goes off the cliff. But this time it doesn't even hang off the cliff, you know, it just keeps falling, you know. So, there it is. Now I can flip the camera, and actually we hit like an hour perfect. We're at like 59 minutes right now, so that works out for PPP's premiere of this bonus episode. But I'm gonna try to flip my camera, or maybe I'm not gonna flip my camera. Maybe it doesn't work out quite like so. But I'll just sort of give you an overview of the salad. And if I fucking, there it is, chat. There's the salad. You can see the full thing. You know, and that's the beauty of it. You know, as long as you put your heart into it, even if you make about 4 mistakes while you're putting it together, they're not too grim, and you have a lot of creative freedom with the bocconcini panzanello salad, you know, or panzanella or whatever it is. Actually, it's probably panzanella, because in Italian, they use A at the end of the word if it's feminine, and they use O if it's masculine, and because it's a salad, I bet you it's feminine. La insalata, I think that's how you say salad in Italian. It's insalata, you know. Mangia l'insalata. You know, you eat the fucking salad. You know, so yeah, it's probably panzanella because it's a female. You know, but you can see it. Even with the mistakes, it turned out just beautiful. And I have no idea what it's going to taste like, but I think it is going to be pretty good. So I'll give it a try here and I'll rate it for you. I'll even do it in Kino Vision for you once again. So I get a fork. You know, and here's another pro tip. If you don't make mistake number 1 like me and use a spoon to mix up your glaze, if you whisk it like a fork like you're supposed to, you could actually just you'd rinse that fork and then use it to eat. And that minimizes dishes for you, right? So that really is the way. You know, that'll probably be the final pro tip for the episode, but you never know. You know, I thought we were out of pro tips already, but they just keep coming. You know, so I'll take the fork here, we'll give her a go. We'll see what we got. Try to get a little bit of everything on there. Try to get some of the bocconcini cheese, the greens, the tomato. Try one of these fucking croutons. Oh, those are fucking good. No, I really do love fucking ciabatta buns. Ciabatta buns are the best fucking buns. You know, they really are. When I used to eat $20 sandwiches every day at Quick Sandwiches in fucking Waterloo, I'd get a fucking, it would be on a ciabatta bun. I'd get a fucking ciabatta bun every day. I'd get the fucking pulled pork sandwich. I'd get a layer of avocado spread on it. Feta cheese on the avocado, and holy fuck, the way the feta cheese and the avocado go together is really something unreal. But then they'd put the pulled pork, and I'd also get, so it'd go pulled pork, and then I'd get the extra bacon, so there'd be bacon on it, and then I'd get an egg on it as well. So Buddy would fry up a fried egg and put it on top of that. And then after that, I'd get the fucking I think it was spinach he had, and he'd lay out the leaves one at a time, real autistically, just perfect. I'd get fucking portobello mushroom on it and some tomato. Holy fuck. Best sandwich I've ever had. Like, it's like $20, you know, but I really would recommend it. It's quick sandwiches in Kitchener-Waterloo. I haven't been there for a long time, but I miss those fucking sandwiches, even though they're like $20 a piece, you know, but the, let me take one more bite and I'll give you my rating. See if we can get a little bit of the felted basil in this bite. And you know, that really was fucking good. The third bite was much better than the first. Sort of psychosomatically, because I don't think I like salad dressings, you know. Like, I had a natural aversion to the balsamic glaze on it and the glaze that I've created. But 3 bites in, I really do like the flavor of the balsamic glaze. Like, it is actually really fucking good. With the this salad, the dressing is actually really fucking good. You know, I was completely wrong. It was completely psychosomatic in my head. I wouldn't like that. But the fucking, like, with the ciabatta croutons and the fucking cheese, like, it's unreal. I would rate it a fucking like 8.5, you know, not quite the full 8.8 because it is a salad, you know, and it is sort of feminine, the panzanella salad, you know, but 8.5 for sure. This is one of the best salads I've ever had. You know, like it's actually like the quality, like big gala events I've been to for like big companies I used to work for, like Just Energy, whatever, different companies like that. The salads they would cater to us at like those big events were fucking like this is that quality, right? It's fucking way better than what you'd get at a fucking regular restaurant or anything. And that's it, chat. So hopefully we've learned something today on this bonus episode. You know, put together your panzanella salad. I really couldn't recommend it enough. And other than that, we'll see you maybe for the next bonus episode or whatever the next episode happens to be. Juice.